There's a million things you can do with pork. You can braise the ham hocks, you can braise the feet, you can chop the head and make a fromage de tête, a terrine. I can braise the shoulder. I can just roast the pork tenderloin and do the chops, just barbecue the chops, put them on a garden salad in the summer, and in the winter I would just serve them with a little bit of whipped potatoes and horseradish. I mean, possibilities are endless. Thank you, Steve.
You're welcome.
Pork shoulder. Two important things: marinate and slow braise. Pork shoulder, very inexpensive cut of meat, and let me show you how I prepare the marinade. A little bit of chipotle peppers, spicy chipotle, smoky chipotles. A little bit of black peppercorns, just to add a little bit of heat. Aromatic cumin seeds, toasted cumin seeds. A little bit of coriander seed, just for more aromatic spices. To this I add a little bit of lime juice. Very important to add lime juice. This is going to help tenderize the meat and just add that nice tanginess and flavor into the meat. A little bit of orange juice. A little bit of garlic. So important, garlic. It's just, you know, so sweet. Broken bay leaf, fresh bay leaf, in it goes. And cilantro. Just beautiful cilantro, tons of it. A little bit of canola oil, just to help keep the pork shoulder nice and moist. A large pinch of salt. And just, let's get the marinade going. Beautiful. Smells just amazing. Can you hold that up, Taylor?
Certainly.
Thank
Chef.
you. The marinade has to go in a bag. Here we go. Put it aside. The pork shoulder into the bag. It has to submerge into the marinade. Just hold it up for a second. Thank you.
Have it, chef.
Thank you. Very important that we get the air out of the bag. And just close the bag very carefully. It goes. And the bag keeps the moist close to the pork. What happens is the bag helps the juice stay close to the meat, and that tenderizes the meat. Those juices are gonna get into the meat. This has to go in the fridge 24 hours, better yet, 4 days, 5 days. Here I got one that I did 4 days ago. Look at it, nice, and that just absorbs juices. The pork just absorbs the juices from the marinade. Just let's get this out of the bag and into a pan. Now the secret is that the juices have to cook with the pork shoulder. Those juices are gonna help tenderize the meat, get the flavor into the meat, and this is slow braise. Cover it really, really well. And let's head for the oven. Thank you, Taylor.
You're welcome, chef.
In the oven, 4 hours, 325. It's very important that it cooks very, very slow to get the braces, juices, just get the meat really nice and tender. And we go, one that I did before. That just the smell, just wow! I can smell that tanginess from the juices. That pork. Look at that, just beautiful. Just see how the meat's nice and tender, cooked all the way. All the juices penetrated the beautiful pork shoulder. Very important. We have to let the meat rest. We have to let the temperature equalize and get the juices redistribute into the meat. So just pull the meat from the bone and just shred it really quick like this. Just get pieces, just shred it really nice. This will be beautiful on its own, just like that as a roast. You know, it'd be just beautiful, just out of the oven. You can serve it straight from the oven into the plate. But I like to do a twist that Mama used to make back in Mexico. The meat into hot oil. You have to get it frying. just to crisp it up and just to get the flavor into it. That beautiful, juicy pork shoulder, just gonna crisp the edges. Mojito, just a little bit of orange juice, a little bit of garlic, oil, deglaze the pan, just to get the juices into it. Just get the juices absorbed. Let the pork absorb the juices. Have garlic, jalapeno, almost the same as my marinade. That's gonna bring the flavors even closer together. Just deep fry it. There we go. Yeah, let's head over to this side. Here I have a little bit of baby greens that I toast with a little bit of olive oil. Look at that beautiful pork shoulder. Just a little bit of the vinaigrette into it, just like that. Just beautiful, juicy. A little bit of sour cream, just to enhance the sourness from the orange. And a little bit of chopped cilantro. Guys, you have to try this. My mother, she always wanted me to help her in the kitchen. I was really young when she always invited me to help her in the kitchen, and I did it because I wanted to. I mean, I wanted to get involved with the techniques and the method of cooking that she was using, and that got me into cooking. So she was my influence at an early stage in my life. She really got me into flavors and seasoning and bold cooking. We've done braised pork shoulder. Now I'm doing brine pork belly. Put in a few cloves, insert the cloves into the belly, just like that. Brining is such a great technique of cooking and curing meats. Cut the belly in half. Pick it up, and then I'm gonna do the brine. A little bit of simmering water, apple cider. That's gonna add tartness to the brine. Brown sugar, sweetness, that's gonna cure the meat beautiful. Aromatic, star anise, coriander seed. A little bit of thyme, fresh garlic, and a little bit of ginger. The brine has to come to a simmer. After it has come to a simmer, it has to cool down to room temperature. And then take the pork belly into the cold brine. This is gonna cure the meat. It has to sit for 48 hours in the fridge, so it cures the meat really nice and slowly. Here I have one that I did earlier. Lift it up from the brine, and it's important that you pat it dry really well. Really well. Just get all the excess of moisture out. Cut a little piece, and in it goes into lard, pork lard, and this is gonna cook and sous vide. You're gonna have to expel the excess of air. This is gonna cook in its own fat, like making duck confit, but this is pork confit, pork belly and confit. Sip the back really well to keep the juices in and the fat in. It's just gonna cook beautiful. And it goes into simmering water. It has to cook for 1.5 hours. Earlier, look at it. It's been cooking its own juices. The meat is just tender and the fat penetrated the pork belly. Look at that beautiful pork belly. Just drain it in the bowl. And now, this has been cooked. What I wanna do, go the extra mile and caramelize this beautiful skin. Look at it, beautiful and fatty. Into a hot pan. Just get the skin nice caramelization. To it, I'm gonna add just a little bit of maple syrup to caramelize, to help caramelization. That's what the syrup does. Helps the meat caramelize and adds an incredible sweetness to it. A little bit of veal stock. This is gonna become my sauce. When the veal stock reduces, that's gonna be my sauce. And a little bit of lemon juice. That's gonna cut through the richness of the meat. That acidity is just gonna cut beautiful. And this is what it looks like once it has been caramelized, right here. Look at it, beautiful brown, just all the juices. And this has to go in the oven for 20 minutes to caramelize the outside of the skin. And here I have it right here. Thank you, Steve.
You're welcome, chef.
Look at it, all the skin has been caramelized from the oven. Beautiful, soft pork belly. Look at the sauce, just amazing caramelization. Take the beautiful pork belly into a bit of frisee. A little bit of apple. To it, I'm gonna add beautiful walnut oil, just to nuttiness from the walnut oil. Look at it, just beautiful. Can't wait for this beautiful caramelized pork belly in sous vide. Wow. This is beautiful. Wow, amazing. Just the flavor, sweetness, tartness, anything. I'm getting everything.
It's always been my favorite.
Thank you. Smoked ham hock, another inexpensive cut of meat. I'm gonna braise it, I'm gonna show you how it's done. A little bit of water. To it, I'm gonna add star anise. A little bit of brown sugar. Aromatic cinnamon. A little bit of lemon peel, orange peel. Bay leaf, ginger, and garlic. In it goes the smoked ham hock. Now what's gonna happen here, I'm gonna add a little bit of rice wine vinegar, and this is gonna help tenderize the meat. When it cooks, it penetrates the meat and it breaks down the connective tissue. A little bit of soya. Soya is gonna add saltiness to the meat, and it's just gonna simmer beautifully. And I just let it braise for 2 hours. I want the flavors to penetrate the meat, and I want the meat to be really tender. Cold water, very important. This is what happens after 2 hours that has been simmering. And look at it, all the impurities go to the surface. And I want to skim those out. That's just protein that has been coagulating, and I want to get rid of that. Just get rid of all the protein that is in the surface. And once you skim the broth, this is what it looks like. Nice and clear, beautiful color, it smells amazing. Look at that juicy braised ham hock, just beautiful. Look at the color, look at the meat, so tender. I'm gonna ladle a little bit of the broth into a sieve, because this is gonna be my juice that's gonna help set my terrine. Just a couple of ladles. To it, I'm gonna add a little bit of gelatin sheets, and that's gonna help set my terrine. The gelatin just helps to set and bind the terrine together. So just put it into the warm broth, and I'll just bring this to a simmer, very low. Now look at this beautiful meat just falling off the bone. Look at that, just perfectly braised, just amazing. Now I want to add something really tangy, something really, really spicy to my terrine. So what I'm going to do, a little bit of butter in a hot pan. Apple, sour apple, nice tanginess, spicy jalapeno, in it goes. And I just want to give this a quick flip. Look at that. Just let the apple caramelize. This is going to add a nice dimension of flavor into the terrine. So I'll let this cook for a few minutes, and this is what it looks like once that has been cooking. Beautiful caramelized apple with a spicy jalapeno, just beautiful. I need some crunch. I need something with a crunch. Steve, could you put in some pearl onions, please?
Yeah, sure.
Thank you. So I take a bowl and I'm gonna put in this mixture, just the mixture from the apple, the braised pearl onion, in it goes. To it, add the beautiful braised ham hock. Just put it in there. Look at that beautiful meat, just nice and tender. Toast it up a little bit. I'm gonna add just a little bit of ground pepper. Just beautiful. Get it in there. Now, I'm gonna assemble my terrine. Just get the meat, the apple, and the onion, just in a terrine mold that has been lined with plastic wrap. Very important. The bottom side is gonna be presentation side, so it's important that we make a nice pattern. Just in it goes. Just a little bit more meat. Just pack it down. There we go. Remember the gelatin with the broth? This is when it comes in. Now, once the gelatin has dissolved, very important that we let this sit to a room temperature, and then we add it. Just add it into the mold. Here we go. Beautiful. Just the smell is just amazing. Now, very important that we pack it and tap it a few times to get rid of the excess of air bubbles. And this has to go in the fridge for 24 hours just to set the gelatin and let just the flavors marry together. Thank you, Steve.
You're welcome, Chef.
Here I have one that I've done before. Look at it, just the gelatin sat beautiful with all the meat and all the apple and the onion onto the cutting board. Just pack it up a few times. Here we go, here it comes. Look at that, just beautiful. Smoked ham hock terrine with apple and pearl onions. You know, guys, we have to try this. Amazing. Just the flavor, gelatin, sweet.
Got an Asian
So
taste
tender,
to it.
yeah.
Incredible. The
spicy.
apples and the onions together. Unbelievable. Excellent, Chef.
I've shown you 3 ways of cooking pork. I'm going to show you how to do a tenderloin. 2 ways. First, I do remove the silver skin. Very important that we get the silver skin out of the pork tenderloin. If you don't remove the silver skin, this is going to shrink and it's not going to cook properly and evenly. So just get the silver skin out of the tenderloin, just like that. Here we go. Remove some of the fat too. And just go right under and just on top with your knife. Here we go. That's it. Trim a little bit. Go right under. Look at that. It peels away easily. That's how I do it in my restaurant. To the first one, I'm going to brush a little bit of Cajun spice. Just Cajun spices. It's going to keep the meat nice and juicy, and it's going to add a wonderful flavor. Brush the other side. Same. Just nice and easy. Just brush it into the meat. So wonderful. Hot smoker, hickory chips. Wonderful way to smoke a beautiful piece of meat like this. In it goes. Has to be really hot. Put the lid back on. Now the lid's going to help to get the smoke into the meat, and that just smokiness of the hickory is just going to penetrate the meat. It's going to be beautiful. Put the lid back in there. I have one that I did here. Just beautiful. Look at that. It's been smoking for 20 minutes. Nice and tender, beautiful piece of meat. Excuse me, Ted. Now, very important. I have to let the meat rest for at least 10 minutes so the juices redistribute and the temperature equalizes. So leave it there for 10 minutes. Next one. Next pork tenderloin. Cracked pepper and coriander seed onto the cutting board. A little bit of olive oil. Just rub it into the meat. Look at that. Just beautiful piece of meat like that. Just roll it into the peppercorn mixture. Look at that. Au poivre, French term for pepper. Into a hot pan with lots of oil. I want to sear the meat really nice and create a really nice crust into this beautiful piece of meat. I have one that I did before. Look at that. Nice and tender, just beautiful. Look at that. The crust, the peppercorn, just really nice piece of meat. Now I need something to go with these 2 beautiful pork tenderloins. And here I have a little bit of rendered bacon. In you go, a little bit of pineapple, Steve, please. Yeah, thank you. Just wonderful combination. Pineapple, fatty bacon, just beautiful. Thank you. A little bit of heat. Chopped jalapeno. A little bit of salt, just to bring out the flavors together. Just for a nice aroma, chopped cilantro. And finally, we need something to pull the flavors together. Fresh lime juice. I love working with lime. It's just so wonderful. Here we go. Just give it a quick stir. Look at that, just beautiful. Crispy bacon, soft pineapple, aromatic cilantro, and spiced jalapeno. Onto the cutting board. Beautiful salsa. Here we have our smoked pork tenderloin. Look at it, beautiful, tender meat. Look at that, juicy. Just look at that color. That's how I want it, medium. Then we go to the next one, au poivre. Look at that beautiful, juicy piece of meat. Oh, look at that color, just amazing. Oh yeah, look at that, just beautiful. All right guys, let's try this.
Cheers.
Thank you guys, it's been a wonderful day. Thank you.
How good was that, eh?
Excellent.
So
Excellent.
good.